all these technologies are a journey. As you mentioned, you've got to pick and choose what actually works for your customer. And I'm intrigued, what were the kind of challenges or opportunities when looking at bringing in artificial intelligence, automation, and embracing it more in the organization? You've already told me some pretty incredible use cases of how early you've adopted it. But what was that process like?
So it's the main things about AI.
Yeah.
It's not really about tech. It's more about data and people.
Okay.
Yeah. So you cannot build artificial intelligence model if you don't have the right data. And by right data, as I mentioned before, it could be unstructured, it could be data that is not used today in the decision process, but with the power of AI you could bring in. But at least you need a starting point. Yeah? And data is really important. Most of the time we have seen the magic of AI really operate is when basically the data come out of the silo where they are in. So insurance have been particularly good and particularly efficient with all their operation.
Yeah.
And very compliant to a lot of regulation around data protection and as a result, sometimes the data is very siloed by process within organization. With lack of standard as well. Yeah? Every silo having their own way of managing the data. So the first things that is really important for insurance companies is basically to define data analytics strategy, like we did a few years ago.
Yeah.
Identify the data asset through a data catalog, like we also did. And basically then agree on the value of each of these assets and in which scenarios could they be used.
Yeah.
When you are there, it's a good starting point to start looking at how AI can bring value, because then you have suddenly a good knowledge of the data you have, but also the gaps and how to bridge these gaps. Yeah? And how is this data already available, or do you need to use AI to actually transform unstructured to structured input? Then the second thing is people. To do all that, you need to upskill everyone in the organization, from the CEO to understand why do we need a data analytics strategy and how crucial it is to support the business strategy, to the actuaries, underwriters, claims managers, portfolio managers, for them to basically go beyond what they learn at school. So all the traditional models that they've built that are very valuable and very robust, to basically for them to understand what is the new world that we are living in and how can they become more data-driven, and how can they leverage this technology to enable them to create more value, AI, in a responsible way, which is also something really important in a world of insurance we are in, highly regulated, looking at how lawmakers and regulators are allowing the industry to deploy AI model is also an important input to take into consideration.
There's a lot of personal data in insurance, isn't it? So I imagine ethical AI is right at the top of your priorities, right?
That's right. So we've defined now a few years ago for our group what responsible AI is about. So we want to use AI in an ethical way. We want to use this technology in an accountable way, so that there is someone accountable when things goes wrong in particular.
Sure.
Yeah? We want to use it at scale to create value, not only for us, but for all our partners and for the customer, which is the base of our mission to make the world more resilient.
Perfect.
And they are basically, and of course, transparency coming to mind as well.
Yeah.
To be accountable, you need to understand how the model works.
Yeah.
So as part of our group data governance framework that has been existing now for many years, we've actually upgraded all the actuarial framework that were existing with advanced analytic governance framework that looks to all these areas. And we're also building a model catalog similar to the data catalog that allow us to know all the models that we already have in production or that we are building, to make sure that our AI governance framework is properly applied across here. And it's very important to have this framework to support the people, to come back to what I was discussing about, to ensure that they understand what is I don't like constraint, but in which environment and all the tools, infrastructure, what are the conditions in which we can scale AI models, and they can always go back to our team of 80 data scientists globally that owns this AI governance for the group. But I must emphasize that the application of AI for insurance is still very new. Even if we have now some models exist for a decade, but the scale of AI is still very new. So there is still a lot to learn and to develop and to create together with our client, with the insurer, together with our partner, together with the AI partners that we work with, the big tech. Together with all the vendors that help us deploy and augment what we do. Regulators, I'm sure I forget. It's not something that you can do by yourself.
No, you can't own every good idea.
Yes. So that's really important to build an ecosystem with all of these players. And also to early on agree on what do you want to build in-house. Where do you allow best practice or maybe data partners or maybe AI partners to chip in and bring their solution here to scale quicker?
Oh, incredible. So yes, at Swiss Re, you look to actually work with other tech companies to create the ultimate solution for your customers.
Yes, that's very true. And we look at our AI partners in maybe 2 or 3 different roles. So some are more data asset provider. So they have built through time some data asset that is valuable for our risk understanding and for us to build and enrich our risk model. Then you have maybe the big tech and cloud partners that help us compute at scale these models and do it in a cost efficient and secure way. There are a lot of additional risk that needs to be managed with AI, where cloud provider can help as well. And then maybe the third is the partners that help us build some specific solution that enable us to augment our capabilities to basically go quicker to market and build strategic partnership to actually provide better solution to our clients. So that's a bit the spectrum of partners that we're looking at. There are some others like on legal and compliance, helping us to look at, as I mentioned, our regulators and the industry is starting to look at it. There are many other partners, so there is room for new partnership there to come.